What are you supposed to say at the end of every freaking episode?
I'm Danielle.
Are you sure? This is our marriage. This is it. Welcome to Modern Parents Podcast.
I'm Danielle.
And I'm Vince. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about something that is extremely important to families, especially young parents right now, the decision to co-sleep. So first and foremost, off the top, we do and have co-slept with all of our children. And there's some plus and minuses to that. So we're not gonna go into science. We're not gonna go into any of that kind of stuff. We're gonna strictly talk about our personal experiences and why we decided to co-sleep. So, without further ado, as we talk about co-sleeping, right, from a mother's perspective, why besides breastfeeding, right, which made it very convenient, why did you make the decision to co-sleep?
I personally felt weird not having my baby next to me. I don't know how to quite describe it, but just like having my baby in a separate room all alone just didn't feel right. It didn't feel comfortable to me personally. So I slept in bed with my mom I remember like cuddling up to my mom in bed as like a young kid. And so that's just what I was used to as a child. My mom co-slept with us, and it was just, I felt safe. So I want our kids to always kind of have that like safety feeling, you know. They will choose on their own when they want to really like be on their own in their own bed, and they can kind of come to that decision themselves, and they have.
Yeah. All of our children have made the decision around, we'll say 4 or 5 years old to sleep in their own beds without us really having to do much there about it.
Yeah.
It was kind of a natural progression of things.
Yeah.
So,
but they also always feel like safe and comfortable to come into our room if they need to, if they get scared or they don't feel any sort of like shame around it.
Absolutely. So I was kind of a similar situation. I always heard stories from my parents that my youngest brother and I used to try to get in bed with them. But I don't remember that. So it must have been in an age in which, there's not a lot of like deep memory there.
Yeah.
But with our oldest Wyatt, for my previous marriage, I started off, his mother and I started off with him sleeping in a crib. Mm-hmm. And she did breastfeed a little bit. And, she also worked. And, so we kind of transitioned to bottle feeding a little bit. But it was very old school mentality of like, kid needs to sleep in the crib by himself. He needs to be able to get himself asleep. Like this very old school that I've gotten away from. I love co-sleeping with the kids. For me, from a provider kind of man dad perspective, there is nothing more motivating in the morning than waking up when that alarm goes off, and as I'm getting ready for work, looking in bed and seeing you with our children sleeping.
Oh,
so
that's so cute.
So for me, it's that snapshot of my life in that moment, what I'm doing all of this for. And not that I, wouldn't get that if I took a couple extra steps and got to look at, the boys while they were sleeping or whatever the case may be. But I also, me personally, I feel a lot safer for them when they're in bed with us, because if anything, God forbid, anything were to happen, they're in bed with us. So if someone were to try to kick the front door in, they're there with us.
Yeah.
So it's also a security thing, right? Less that we have to worry about there because they're already consolidated in our room. But yeah, I love it. I love waking up to cuddles. I love, having them in the morning when they do get up and they do want to, like, they kind of wake you up a little bit. I love that. I do. I really love that.
Just starting your morning off with them, just like already right there.
Yeah. And because they're not like annoying about it.
Yeah. They're not like jumping up and down, like jumping on top of us. Like,
yeah. Yeah. And so we don't have that experience. We don't have that experience where, they're like in our faces and that kind of stuff. Like, so we're very fortunate. A lot of people may not have that. But the flip side of this, I don't want this to seem all rainbows and sunshine and butterflies, because it's not, right? There are some points that are annoying, right? There are some things like 2 years of sleeping with Cooper and his knees in our back or his toes in our mouth, or, him wanting to lay across you while you're trying to sleep.
Yeah.
Wyatt, when he co-slept with us, wanted to sleep on my back.
Yeah.
Like a turtle.
Yeah.
He wanted me to be like he wanted to be the shell.
Yeah.
So there are some annoying things, right, with that.
Mm-hmm.
How would you, what's kind of the thing for you that's like, but the co-sleeping that's kind of like,
Sometimes when I'm ready for bed, I'm like, okay, I just want to close my eyes and go to sleep. It's not always like that, because you have to like have the process of like, okay, like you're going to lay down next to me. And sometimes they just want to talk. And I get it. They're kids. They want to talk about their day, or they want to, procrastinate going to bed.
It's all a ploy. It's all procrastination. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I know that, they still do it whenever they go and lay in their own bed too. But I feel like it's more frustrating whenever I have finally gotten to lay down and they're
you're
like
tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like that. And then I feel like the obvious answer,
the hide the pickle. Right?
You got to get a little creative with.
Yeah, with that does become a thing. I do want to, before we get into that, I do want to say that I always think it's funny how when we sit down to eat dinner and we ask the boys, like, oh, how was school? Or what did you do in school? And they're like, I don't know. Or I forgot.
I forgot. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny at 8:30 at night when we're all laying down to go to bed,
like,
they
I
all
did
of a sudden remember.
Yeah. You want to know what I did today? I had this. And I sat next to so-and-so in class today. And you want to know what they told me? I'm like, all these things that you could have told me. But I also get it too. They come home from school and they just want to decompress. Like, busy day for them.
It's funny in the sense of how much energy they spend procrastinating trying to go to bed.
Yeah.
Than actually just laying down.
Yeah.
Because like right now, for example, we had a kind of a fun evening.
Yeah.
We had friends come over. We got everyone played outside. We grilled. We had a good time. And they're passed out right now.
Oh, yeah. But I get it, though, because how many times have we been like, oh, I'm so tired, and then we go lay down in bed and we scroll on our phone for an hour or whatever, It's
the
like,
rabbit hole.
Yeah, I get it. That's our way of procrastinating going to bed. We know in our mind we should just put our phone down, close our eyes, and go to sleep. We know it would benefit us more, but we don't.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a child's way. Like,
yeah, I get that.
So.
But the frustrating side a little bit for you and I, kind of going back into your previous statement, was, the coitus, the old, playing patty cake, slamming ham, hide the pickle, fuzzy bear, let me in. Yeah, that becomes that becomes a little creative to try to figure that out.
Yeah, you gotta.
Because obviously they're in bed.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get lucky. And you can move them into their beds.
Yeah.
And they'll be asleep for like 20 minutes. And it's great.
Yeah.
You get everything done you need to get done. Right? A little extra time, a little extra space.
See, we don't really have
cuddling.
We don't have to worry about it as much now with the older children.
Yeah.
They're pretty past that. I mean, and when our 4-year-old does come in bed with us, it's like at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Generally. So.
Yeah. But it's just it's one of those things where through all of our children, we've had to figure out a way, whether that's, going to a different room or trying to figure it out. I mean, it's just that is one of the things that is extremely difficult.
Mom, don't watch this episode.
About co-sleeping is that exact thing.
But I feel like in parenthood anyway, you're already trying to like.
Oh, you get creative.
Yeah. Like, cause you're
real creative. No comment.
None. I plead the fifth.
Plead the fifth. But so co-sleeping can be great though. Co-sleeping can be great. It also has its hurdles, but we made the decision to co-sleep because that's what we thought was right for us.
I always talk about, I'm like, bedtime is like the part of the day that I look forward to the most, just because like that's the time that I get of quiet. Like finally everyone is asleep, everyone is quiet. So I'm like,
yeah,
you
read a book until 1 a.m.
Yeah, I do. My brain just, I need to just focus on me, right? Like not having to worry about
mom,
or a child falling or scraping their knee or, so
I get that. Like I really do. And that's why I try so hard to give you that time, especially when you can, like during the week and that kind of stuff. But, and just for everybody out there, we do have a routine in which the kids do brush their teeth. They do go to bed most of the time in their own beds.
Yeah.
It's just we're at that stage where with the baby, she's in bed with us. And then our, youngest son will get up in the middle of the night sometimes and come in bed with us. So, yeah. I don't know. We get a lot of pushback from people who talk about co-sleeping. Oh, well, what if you roll over on your child, or what if they roll off the bed, or what if? It's like, yeah, there's always a little bit of risk, but we don't go to people's houses that have pools and go, oh, what if your kid steps in the pool? Like,
yeah,
it's just
I feel like in every part of parenthood, you have to take what you feel most comfortable with, what you feel like you need to do. And with everything that you do, every decision you make in parenthood, in life, really, there's always plus and minuses. And you just have to figure out what works best for you and your situation.
Well, both of us were fortunate. Both of us are pretty light sleepers.
Yeah.
So like literally one noise and we're both awake.
Yeah.
So I get that for some people where if they're like heavy sleepers, co-sleeping might not be for you.
Right. Every situation is so different. Like some people have to take medication at night to go to sleep. Obviously, if that's the case for you, like probably not a good idea to have your baby in bed with you. Yeah. If you're dead asleep, you're not going to know if you roll over on your baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
There really is just...
There's
a safe way. There's safe way to have your baby in your bed with you.
Yeah.
But not getting into too much of the,
Yeah, we'll catch hate either way. It doesn't matter. Yeah. That's not what we're doing. We're doing this.
Never mind. I'm not even going to go into that.
Yeah. See, like I said, we're doing this because we're giving a voice to like, hey, this is why we do things. We agree to disagree. If you don't like the fact that we co-sleep, that's fine. But for people out there that do co-sleep, here's why we do it.
I think there's more people who co-sleep with their children
intentionally or unintentionally.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like you can go, like you can have your baby, you can have your kid, and like fully intend on keeping them in their crib, but life happens. You breastfeed. Is it safer for you to be in the rocking chair nursing your baby to sleep, falling asleep with your baby, and potentially drop them because you are hunched over asleep? You know what I mean? Like, because you're so exhausted because you can't sleep because your baby won't stay in the crib. You know, like
woulda, coulda, shoulda, everything.
Everything. So I think there's more people out there who do co-sleep with their kids than they actually admit because of all the
backlash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So.
Well.
Yeah.
So that we want to talk about that a little bit just because we know it's a little bit of a topic right now people are talking about. And at the end of the day, we really don't care what people think.
Yeah.
We do this for us and for people out there who maybe have a question about, if they should co-sleep, if it's okay, if they feel comfortable. Like, we just tell our experiences. So you can agree with our experiences, you can disagree.
Or not, yeah.
Or not. It's okay. Like, we're not going to judge you.
No one's going to parent the exact same. No one is going to. Every family, every situation is different. So you can't. You
can't even parent your own kids the same exact way.
Yeah. Yeah. Because with every child, you grow, you learn more things, you learn new things. Like,
I can't remember what I was watching, but someone was talking about how, and this is getting into a much different subject, but someone was talking about how, then they were talking with a psychologist, my parents raised my sister and I the same exact way, and we turned out completely different.
Yeah.
And the psychologist said, no, they didn't. Your parents were your parents. Her parents were her parents. So if you're seeing this, that means one of our kids woke up, and we are trying to get them back to sleep as we do shoot these episodes at night. So now is a great intermission for you to go ahead and like, share, comment, follow, subscribe on this video, hit all the buttons, do all the things. Go visit all of our social media channels on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcast, all of the places. Hit all the button, do all the things. Pick your favorite social media channels and go follow us on those. And if you're listening to this on a podcast platform like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave us a 5-star review. It's extremely important for the algorithm for those platforms to help grow our channel organically. Also, if you want to support us even more, head over to patreon.com/modernparentspodcast and subscribe. It's $5 a month, 15 or 16 cents a day to get more Modern Parents content. We post on there weekly with specific, unique content like an extra episode every single week. It also gives you access to a bunch more perks to our Modern Parents podcast experience. So check that out and become a patron at patreon.com/modernparentspodcast. We'll be right back after the kids go back to sleep. And we're back. Baby's asleep.
She's asleep.
The world is right again in the Cunningham house.
Yes.
All right. So we just got done talking about co-sleeping. Are there any final points you wanted to make on that before we move on to our next topic?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. We co-sleep. We don't care what you think about it. All right. So you and I play a fun game, and I don't think a lot of people remember in their marriage to have fun. So we've been together for almost a decade.
Yeah. Wedding anniversaries.
In a couple days. Yep.
Yeah.
Wedding anniversary. So caveat here, we celebrate our dating anniversary and our wedding anniversary because without one, you wouldn't have the other.
Yeah.
And we do that because Valentine's Day, we really don't celebrate all that much. It's really not a significant meeting. It's all commercial BS to get you to go buy some stuff you really don't need to buy. So we celebrate dates with significance. Now, the game we play, which is fun, and I highly recommend that you out there, married couples, been together a long time, what's that called when you've been together a long time but you're not married, but you live in a state that if you know If you know what I'm talking about, leave in the comments
my God,
below.
that's gonna bother me now.
Yeah, see, something marriage. Leave in the comments down below if you know what we're talking about. You're not married, but you've been together for a long time. Common law marriage. There we go. If you're seeing this right now.
That was a loud ass snap.
That was a good snap.
That was a good snap.
I got the man hands. That's why. Some big old hands. Got some fingers on me.
Anyway, the game we play.
The game we play is if we won the lottery.
Oh, I love this game.
So every week, every other week or so, we buy a $2 Mega Millions ticket. And we just do a random. We just get a quick pick. We don't do anything special. We don't have secret numbers, nothing that kind of stuff. We just do a quick pick at a gas station. And we kind of go through what the plan would be. So I haven't looked at the recent jackpot for the Mega Millions. Let's just say it's $300 million. What are you doing? What's the 5 things you're doing?
5 things. Okay.
With $300 million. Remember, we'll probably get, if you take the, first of all, you taking the lump sum, or you taking the annual payments? So January 1st, you'll either get a large payment, and you'll get that payment every year, I think, for 10 years.
Probably the lump sum.
You're going to get hit with a ton of taxes on it. But I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying. So taking the lump sum.
Taking the lump sum. Investing in.
Investing in what?
I don't know yet. It'll depend on when we win the jackpot, what is happening.
So like stock market, real estate, bonds,
Depends
gold, silver.
on what each, like.
Okay. All right.
Depends on the economy at the time of our winning.
So first thing first, investing in the future.
Investing in the future.
Okay. Next thing.
Next thing, buying a new house.
Okay. Okay. Buying a new house.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Why you say it like that?
I mean, because you could buy or you can build. I know we've always talked about building a house.
Again, depends on the situation.
All right, hey, okay. Don't judge me.
I'm just saying, if we find a house that we absolutely love and we don't have to go through the process of building, wonderful. If, a month goes by, 2 months go by, and we're like, I'm just not seeing anything that I like, okay, we'll build a house. So, new home, whether it's buying or building.
Okay.
Depends on circumstances. Okay?
All right.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay.
So investment, new home.
New car.
New car. Okay. New car for you. New car for the family. Are you getting real, like soccer mommed out? Or are you getting like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, a bigger car, more seats.
Like a Kia, like that Carnival?
I don't know.
No? Okay.
I don't know.
I love minivans, so.
Yeah. Depends.
All right. Just okay.
I don't know if I would feel bougie or not, so.
Oh. Did you get that bougie energy or not?
That's a lot of money, so.
All right. So that's 3. So investments, new home, new car. There's a lot. You don't worry. That's just the animals outside making ruckus.
Oh man, I don't know. Let me think on it. You start yours.
All right. So 3 for sure.
I know 3 for sure.
Okay. So for me, I'm gonna go opposite route. I'm gonna take I think they call it an annulment. So there's like an allotment or an annulment. So I'm going to take the payments.
Okay, the monthly payments.
I think it's yearly actually. I think it's the first month of every year you get like whatever the amount. So let's just say 300 million. Let's just say you get taxed. You still have to pay taxes on that regardless. So 300 million over 10 years, that's 30 million a year. we'll roughly say it's probably more like 25 million after taxes. So 25 million. First thing I'm doing is paying off any and all debt that we have. Anything that's sitting out there, it's all getting paid off immediately. So,
wow, you sound a lot more responsible than I am.
Well, in having that much money,
we just don't have a lot of debt.
We don't have a lot of debt.
If we get a new home and new cars, that gets rid of.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
of what our debt is.
I mean, like, paying off the house we currently live in, paying off the cars, paying off anything that we have that we need paid off. And the reason is because even though we have that kind of money where we could just literally walk into somewhere and pay cash for something, the value of a good credit score these days, especially in financial hardship, is like more and more seen kind of like gold a little bit. So paying off any debts that we have, so that way we kind of start the slate clean. So that way we can do the second thing, which is also investing. So I would try to invest a large sum of that money, so that way it builds up enough interest, or I can live off of the interest, or we can live off the interest on that. Third thing is I'm moving in the woods. No, the way you said that. So
no, you said I, so I said I.
Yes, we. So yeah. So I would pay off debt. I would invest a large sum of that money.
Okay.
I would buy a new car only because I hate the current car that I drive. Because the only reason I drive it is because I drive quite a bit and it's good on gas. But it's not an awesome car. So I would buy a new car for that reason. And then, so that's the third thing, right? Okay. Fourth thing that I would do is I would buy land. I would buy land and build a house. I would rather pay this house off and live in it while we build a house.
Okay.
And then when we build the house, this house is paid off. So we just Airbnb this mug. And then now we have another source of income coming in. That doesn't matter if we rent it out 4 weeks of the month, right? We could rent it out a couple of days if we wanted to. We could write this house off as a business expense. Helps with our taxes, everything else, right? See? And then the fifth thing I would do is I would donate money to something, right? Obviously, things that we've talked about in the past, teachers, military, something along those lines I would donate to, just to help out, to have that. I mean, you and I have talked about time and time again, the reason why, we'll never be extremely rich people is because we're always giving back to our friends and family and always helping them out and doing things. And it's not like giving them money, but like, we do, when it comes to Christmas or comes to certain things, like we do give back quite a bit to our friends and family, especially the ones that have supported us quite a bit throughout the last, 10 years of us being together. So kind of the five things I would do there. Surprisingly enough, though, I would not quit my job.
Yeah.
The reason I wouldn't quit my job is you still need health insurance. Still, just because you have $25 million a year, it doesn't mean, I don't know if it's a side effect of today's day and age and insurance, but if you look at like a medical bill, like after insurance, it's ridiculous. It's like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in some cases. Like you get two $40,000 medical bills, for whatever reasons or even more. Something that happens, you got to stay in the hospital. When I got into a car accident, I had to stay in the hospital for 2 days. Medical bill was like $100,000. Yeah.
Well, like looking at the bills from whenever I was in the hospital, like after having our babies, like, because not only are you, obviously you're a patient, but then once your baby's born, they are now a patient as well. So.
Yeah, you're getting double tapped.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so that's the thing.
Not quitting your job, keeping your job.
Yeah, I'm definitely keeping my job.
Ooh.
But we have FU money though. It's one of those things where I'll also be at a financial point where
if someone
just does something buck wild, I can be like, you do realize I don't need this job. So I'd be very careful about the next couple sentences that you fucking say to me.
I thought of another one.
Okay, go ahead. So invest, buy a house, buy a car. Those are yours. What's your last two?
Hiring a maid or a chef. One or the other. Whatever.
You saying I don't do a good job cooking?
No.
Is that what you're saying?
No, but you don't get home until after 6 o'clock. So for like dinners and stuff, like that's the most stressful. If I could hire a chef to just strictly do dinner time during the week when you're not here, that would be so nice.
We could just, you know what we could do? We could just retire your mom and have her come here and be our like in-house nanny /
That's true.
Chef, cook.
Build her an in-law suite.
She wants an in-law suite. We could build her and Papa John a little in-law suite.
Saying.
There we go. See, that's what I'm talking about. We're always talking about like how to like help our families and whatnot. But
I don't know what I would do for my last one.
Last thing. We do this all the time.
I know. But you've already said some good ones.
You could do the same things.
But if you already said it, I'm not wasting my
your last one
on something you've already said.
I know what your last one is because you talk about it all the time.
What?
A big vacation.
Oh, like a big. Oh yeah.
That's what you've said. You've said like you would want to take
like travel the world,
like a grandiose big vacation if we were, loaded like that.
Oh yeah, and like invite our like
close pay for
one
everything.
because it would just be so fun to have everyone, but also like the extra help with the kids and like
that was nice when we went on our vacation this year, having your mom and John there to help.
Oh yeah,
with the kids in those moments where it's like, hey, like each kid got their own adult.
That
was nice.
That was nice for sure.
So if you won the lottery right now, Mega Millions, Powerball, whatever, what would be the 5 things that you would do with that money? Top 5 things that you would do. So we talked about investments, buying, house, a car, kind of standard stuff, paying off debt, going on vacations.
A chef.
A personal chef.
Or a maid. I don't know which one I would.
Yeah. Either, something. But yeah, let us know in the comments down below what you would like to have with your $300 billion, whatever, your jackpot. Right? What would you do with it? So the last thing that I want to talk about, and the probably least surprising thing of all, is the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs lost to the Detroit Lions. And we made this, we started talking about football a couple episodes ago. And I was not shocked that they lost.
You saw how bad they played. They played bad. And they only lost by 1 point.
Agreed.
So,
and all the major analysts say that Travis Kelce not playing was a huge... So Colin Cowherd talks about how players are worth points. And he was talking about how besides like the top 10 quarterbacks in the league, there are very few skilled positions that are worth points. Mm-hmm. Travis Kelce has the most receptions of any skilled player, I think, last year or something crazy.
Yeah.
So I think not having Travis Kelce hurt them a lot more than not having Chris Jones.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because Mahomes, he played fine. He threw good throws. I mean, of course, every game there's going to be a couple iffy throws or whatever. But I don't think he really threw any throws that weren't catchable.
Well, his first 7 throws were to like 7 different receivers.
Yeah.
So
it's just he didn't have the one.
He didn't have his rock.
He didn't have the one person like he knew 100%.
Yeah.
Like, so
and every
he honestly, Kelsey probably could have played, but he wouldn't have been 100%, and he could have potentially hurt his knee more, and then he would be out for however many games.
Yep.
Like taking
one
him
game
out on
off.
the first game, like.
But there is a statistical significant like stat for teams that lose their first game have a smaller chance. I don't know the stat off the top of my head, but they do have a very small chance.
I don't care about that.
So I'm just saying.
Kansas City Chiefs have broken so many like.
Yeah, I got you. And every good quarterback has had like that one person, right? So, obviously Brady had Gronk. He also had, Edelman. If you look at like Goff has Amon St. Brown. Like there are certain weapons or specific things that quarterbacks need to be successful. And in this situation, it's, Mahomes and Kelsey. Yeah. So that I just wanted to bring that up real quick.
I mean, it was very unfortunate that they lost, but also it's the very beginning of the season. Like, this is kind of what they do. They start off slow.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think last year they were like 4-1 at the beginning of the season.
But not like amazingly. Like last year, everyone was like, "Oh, Hill's not playing," and blah, blah, blah. Like that was a whole thing. And
you sound like a Lions fan for the last 20 years.
Why?
Because the Lions are like making excuses here and there about why their teams don't win.
But the Chiefs do win, so
not this year.
Okay. Oh,
they lost
one game.
No, they lost their first game. No big deal. I'm just being the ultimate troll right now. That's all. I'm just trolling. Yeah. That's all I'm doing.
I know.
So, that was.
When do the Steelers play?
Steelers play Sunday, I believe.
Okay.
So, but again, I'm not a Steelers fan. I'm a player fan. And we're back again. We had a real treat. 2 kids waking up in the same episode. Wild. Whoa.
2 different kids.
2 different kids.
Yeah.
So, to recap, talked about co-sleeping, talked about being a millionaire, talked about the Chiefs sucking their first week. Anything else?
I can't wait.
Oh, if the Steelers win, I'm going to talk so much shit next week. So
but you're not a Steelers fan.
I'm just saying.
So you better not. You guys heard it. You heard him.
You keep holding me down to the fact that I have to be a Steelers fan because I grew up a Steelers fan. So every time I say I'm a Players fan, you roll your eyes. So I win either way. I win either way. If the Steelers win, boom, I'm great. Steelers lose, I don't care because I'm a player fan. So I'll just pick whatever team wins that week, pick a player on that roster that I like, and go, I'm on St. Brown fan.
I know.
I'm the Lions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you never pick a Chiefs player that you like.
I like Chris Jones.
You're so obnoxious.
Actually, I don't like Chris Jones. I could care less. I think the Chiefs hurt more not having Kelsey than they do having Jones, to be honest, because Chiefs' young defense stepped up. So with that,
they did. Yeah.
We've had fun this episode. We'll have more coming every single week. Like always, stick around. Modern Parents Podcast, episode 6.
Watch the Chiefs win the Super Bowl this year.
Why you interrupt me like that for? I was on a roll.
I had to get it in.
Ooh. Wait till this camera shuts off.
Do we gotta shut the camera
off? Oh, Lord. T-Dog, I hope you really don't watch this one. This been episode 6.
You've corrupted me.
This took a turn.
Episode 7.
All right, this is the end of the episode. What are you supposed to say at the end of every freaking episode?
I'm Danielle.
Are you sure? I'm just going to start saying I'm Danielle and I'm Vince at the end of every freaking episode. I literally said this is the end of the episode.
I know, and that threw me off.
What's your name?
Vincent.
Oh my God.
I'm Danielle.
And I'm Vince. And this has been the end of episode 6 of the Modern Parents Podcast.